Why is it that the man who does not chase, who does not blow up her phone, who is not constantly trying to impress, somehow becomes the man she cannot stop thinking about, the man she stalks on social media, the man she secretly hopes will text her first? And why is it that the man who tries the hardest, who proves how good he is, who gives everything, ends up being ignored, friend-zoned, or treated like an emotional backup plan? That's not random. That's not unfair luck. That is psychology. And in this moment, while you sit here listening, you're going to understand the psychology of men who don't chase women and make women chase them instead, so you can stop begging for attention and start living as the kind of man whose presence naturally demands respect, curiosity, and desire. Before anything else, I want you to look at yourself with brutal honesty. Ask yourself, in your recent interactions with women, who has been chasing who? Are you the one checking your phone every few minutes hoping to see her name on the screen? Are you the one rereading conversations to see if you said something wrong? Are you the one always starting the chats, always proposing the plans, always trying to make her laugh, always trying to keep the conversation alive while she answers with one-word messages? Are you the one building stories in your head every time she takes hours to respond? If that sounds like you, it doesn't mean you're weak as a man. It means your psychology around women is wired to chase and seek approval, not to attract and select. The men who don't chase women are not heartless, they are not emotionless, and they are not cruel villains who enjoy hurting people. They are simply men who understood something that most never learn. The moment your sense of worth depends on whether a woman likes you or not, you have already lost the game. When you need someone's reaction to feel good, you hand them the remote control of your emotions. The man who doesn't chase has taken that remote back. He has built his value from the inside out, and his behavior with women is a consequence of that internal foundation, not a performance to impress anyone. Think about this. Your brain is constantly measuring what matters and what doesn't based on one simple thing: perceived value. And perceived value is heavily influenced by scarcity and investment. In social psychology, it's very clear. We value what is rare, what is not completely predictable, what demands some level of effort and decision. We care less about what is always there, no matter how we behave. So when you are constantly available, instantly responsive, endlessly forgiving, always ready to rearrange your life for a woman who has not earned that level of priority, you might feel that you are showing how much you care. But psychologically, you are lowering your perceived value. You become the default option, the safe background, not the man she feels she could lose if she doesn't show up. The man who doesn't chase operates differently. He is not pretending to be busy. He is actually busy. He is not ignoring women to manipulate them. He is genuinely engaged with his mission, his work, his training, his goals, his growth. His attention is not cheap because his time is not empty. When he replies from a life that is full. When he invites from a calendar that already has purpose in it. And that alone changes the dynamic completely, because now she is interacting with a man who clearly has a direction, not with a man whose entire emotional weather depends on whether she likes him or not. Let's go deeper into this. There are 3 internal pillars that define the psychology of a man who doesn't chase women. He has internal value, he has a mission that is bigger than any one woman, and he has emotional discipline. If any of those are missing, you will feel an urge to chase. If all of them are solid, chasing becomes unnatural. It does not match who you are anymore. Internal value means you know, not think. Know that you bring substance to the table, regardless of who validates it today. It is not about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than everyone else. It's about having proof in your own eyes that your discipline, your integrity, your effort, your capacity to overcome discomfort, your reliability, your ability to improve are real. You have evidence. You keep promises to yourself. You set standards and you enforce them in your behavior. This kind of inner value doesn't come from compliments, attention, or romantic validation. It comes from what you do when nobody is watching. When a man has no internal value, he becomes hungry for external validation. He starts to use women's reactions as emotional oxygen. If she replies fast, he feels alive. If she is affectionate today, he relaxes. If she pulls away, he falls into anxiety, overthinking, and compulsive texting. He is not interacting. He is trying to survive. He is not flirting. He is trying to prove that he is worthy of love. The man who doesn't chase stepped out of that mental prison. He decided that his worth is defined by the man he is becoming, not by the attention he gets. And because of this, he can like a woman, he can desire her, he can appreciate her, but he never kneels emotionally in front of her. The second pillar is mission. A man without a mission is extremely vulnerable to obsession. When you have too much mental space, it is very easy to fill it with fantasies, illusions, and overthinking about a single person. That is why you find yourself counting hours since she last replied, analyzing her online status, wondering what she meant by a certain emoji. Your brain has spare capacity, and it uses it to obsess. A man with a mission doesn't have that much empty space. He is busy building his body, his skills, his business, his career, his finances, his influence. He is busy improving himself intellectually and spiritually. He is aiming at something beyond his comfort. When you are deeply engaged in a mission, you do not have the time or the emotional bandwidth to chase. You can show interest. You can make space for a woman who adds value to your journey. But you are not going to drop everything, rewrite your day, and betray your own priorities just to be available, in case she maybe wants your attention. Your schedule starts to reflect your priorities: training, focus work, learning, deep rest, strategic friendships. That structure becomes a powerful filter, because any woman who wants access to your time will have to respect that your life is not an empty canvas waiting to be colored by her moods. The third pillar is emotional discipline. This is where stoicism becomes extremely valuable. Emotional discipline is not about feeling nothing. It's about not letting your feelings drive the car. It's your ability to experience attraction, desire, disappointment, or excitement without losing yourself. When a woman you like takes longer than usual to answer, your emotions will react. Maybe you feel a small spike of anxiety. Maybe you feel rejected. Emotional discipline is the ability to notice that reaction and decide not to respond from it. You do not send an extra message just to reduce your discomfort. You do not start an argument. You do not beg for reassurance. You simply breathe, return to your mission, and let reality reveal itself through her actions over time. A man who chases has reactions. A man who doesn't chase has responses. A reaction is automatic, impulsive, driven by fear of loss. A response is conscious, chosen, based on self-respect. For example, if a woman cancels a date at the last minute with a weak excuse, a chasing mindset reacts with, "No problem. We can reschedule. Whenever you want. It's okay. I understand," even if inside he feels disrespected. The non-chasing mindset responds differently. It may say, "All right, take care," but then reduces his investment. He doesn't try to fix it. He doesn't reward unreliability with more effort. His response is not about punishing her, it is about honoring his own time. Now, understand something crucial. When you chase, you are not only lowering your perceived value, you are also stealing from her the chance to invest. In human relationships, we bond more strongly with what we invest in. This is a well-known principle in psychology and behavioral science. When someone spends time, energy, and effort on something, they tend to value it more and feel more attached to it. So if you are the one who always invests more messages, more plans, more emotional labor, more excuses, more patience, you are building your own attachment while leaving hers underdeveloped. You are training your brain to crave her, and at the same time, training her brain to feel indifferent. The man who doesn't chase respects the law of mutual investment. He absolutely can initiate, but he pays attention to the response. If she never initiates, never proposes, never adapts her schedule, never asks questions about him, he registers that. He does not become bitter. He does not complain. He simply decreases his investment to match reality. And if the imbalance continues, he walks away internally, even if he still answers politely. He refuses to be the only investor in a one-sided emotional company. Another key factor, the man who doesn't chase has standards. Most men think standards are only about what a woman looks like. If she is physically attractive, that's enough. But a man who understands psychology looks beyond that. He pays attention to consistency, respect, communication, emotional maturity, integrity. He notices how she reacts when he sets a boundary. He sees if she respects his time or treats him as an option. Standards are not a list of demands. They are simply a clear image of what you will and will not allow in your life. Without standards, you cling to any attention you can get, even if the treatment is mediocre. With standards, you can appreciate someone's beauty and still decide, calmly, that her behavior is not aligned with the life you are building. That ability to say no, not from anger, but from clarity, is deeply attractive. It signals that you see yourself as the prize. You are not desperately competing for a spot in her life. You are evaluating just as she is. This is not about arrogance. It is about balance. She is not a goddess. You are not a beggar. You are two humans choosing each other or not. Let's translate all of this into practical behavior, because you don't change your psychology just by listening. You change it by acting differently, consistently, until your nervous system learns a new normal. Imagine this scenario. You send a message to a woman you like. Instead of staring at the screen and waiting, you send it and then immediately move your focus to your day. You go back to your work, your training, your project, your reading. Your brain will try to pull you back into the app. That is where you practice discipline. You resist the urge to reopen the chat every few minutes. You let time pass. You decide that you will not measure your worth by how fast she replies. Next scenario. She answers, but her energy is low. She gives short responses, shows no curiosity, never asks about you, never suggests meeting up. Old patterns would push you to work harder, to be more entertaining, to send memes, to ask more questions, to keep trying. The new psychology tells you, match her level of investment. If she gives the minimum, you give the minimum. If she is not moving the conversation or the interaction forward, you do not force it. You are not angry. You are simply done trying to compensate for a lack of effort on her side. Another scenario, she cancels a date without a solid reason. The chasing version of you would immediately offer another time, try to show understanding, cover the discomfort with, no worries, another time. The non-chasing version acknowledges the cancellation, but then steps back. You can reply with something short and neutral, but you let her be the one who brings up rescheduling if she truly cares. If she doesn't, you have your answer. You don't need a long explanation. You don't need closure. Her behavior's the closure. Now you might ask, but if I stop chasing, what if I lose her? And that question reveals the real issue. You are seeing yourself as a man who must hold on tightly to not be left alone. Men who don't chase do not think like that. In their mind, losing someone who does not appreciate their value is not a loss. It is alignment. They know there are countless women in the world, and more importantly, they know they have the ability to grow into a man who naturally attracts higher quality connections. They are not clinging to one person as their only chance at love. This connects directly to abundance mentality. Abundance does not mean pretending that you have endless options right now. It means knowing that as you grow, as you improve, as you expand your world, you will meet more people, have more experiences, open more doors. When you adopt that belief, you stop forcing outcomes. You stop trying to turn every interaction into a relationship. You stop reading destiny into every match, every smile, every text. You become more relaxed, more selective, more grounded. And paradoxically, that makes you more attractive, because nobody feels at ease with a man who carries the energy of, I need this to work, or I'm nothing. There is another psychological angle here, tension. Attraction needs a certain level of tension to stay alive. Not drama, not toxic games, but that subtle feeling of, I am not completely sure, I want to know more, I could lose this if I don't act. When you chase excessively, you kill that tension. You tell her with your behavior, you already got me, no matter what you do, I'll be here. That may feel romantic in movies, but in reality it destroys desire. The man who doesn't chase keeps some mystery, not because he is hiding, but because his life is not fully consumed by her. He shows interest, he enjoys the interaction, but he is not emotionally naked on day one. He reveals himself gradually as trust and reciprocity grow. Pay attention to how you speak about yourself as well. The chasing mindset often slips into self-deprecating jokes, over-explaining, disclaimers like, I know I'm not the best guy, or I know you probably have better options. That language programs your own mind and influences how she sees you. A man who does not chase speaks from a more solid place. He doesn't brag, but he also doesn't belittle himself. He communicates with calm confidence. He does not ask for permission to exist in her world. Changing this psychology is not a one-day event. It is a process of rewiring. You have to catch yourself when you are about to chase and choose a different action, again and again, until your nervous system understands that you will not die if you stop begging for attention. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will create stories. If I don't check my phone, she will forget me. If I don't write again, she will think I don't care. If I don't insist, I will lose this opportunity. Those are fear-based thoughts, not facts. You have to let reality show you the truth. Any connection that depends on you constantly chasing and overinvesting is not a healthy connection. Instead of chasing, you start building. You build your body, so when you look in the mirror, you see strength and effort, not excuses. You build your mind, feeding it with books, knowledge, philosophy, business, psychology. You build your income, so you are not emotionally blackmailed by anyone. You build your discipline, so when your feelings fluctuate, your actions remain consistent. Little by little, that work changes how you walk, how you stand, how you look into someone's eyes. Your presence becomes heavier, more grounded. You require less noise to prove yourself, because you know what is behind your silence. From that place, the way you interact with women transforms organically. You no longer send long essays explaining why you're a good guy. You no longer beg for a chance. You no longer accept disrespect disguised as jokes or busy schedule. You can appreciate a woman deeply, desire her deeply, and still be willing to walk away if the dynamic starts killing your self-respect. That willingness is what keeps you from chasing. It is not indifference. It is self-possession. You also need to understand that not chasing doesn't mean being passive. You can absolutely take initiative. You can approach, invite, flirt, express your interest. The difference is what happens when that interest is not reciprocated at a healthy level. The chasing man keeps insisting. The non-chasing man reads the signs, accepts the answer, and moves on. You are allowed to move first. What you are no longer allowed to do, if you want to become this man, is stay where you clearly are not valued. Imagine yourself, a few months from now, living this new psychology. You wake up, and the first thing you think about is your mission for the day, not your notifications. You carry yourself with a quiet confidence, not because you think you are perfect, but because you know you are progressing. When you meet a woman, you are open, you are present, you are genuine, but you are not desperate. You are not trying to make her like you. You are seeing if she fits into the life you are creating. If she does, you give her your best. If she doesn't, you wish her well in your mind and you keep moving. Women begin to feel that difference. They notice when a man is not leaning forward too much. They sense when a man is not rushing to fill every silence with words, when he is comfortable with pauses, when he is not intimidated by their tests. They recognize that they cannot control his emotions with random hot and cold behavior, and that is unfamiliar, intriguing, challenging in a good way. Many will test you even more when they feel this. They will pull back a little just to see if you collapse. That is where you prove, to yourself and to them, that this psychology is real. You keep your pace. You don't suddenly chase. You stay consistent with your standards. There will be moments where you feel, if I chase now, I might get a bit more attention. And maybe you would. But that attention would come with a cost. Your own self-respect. Every time you sacrifice your dignity to get scraps of validation, you are telling your subconscious mind, I am not enough on my own. I must beg. Over time, that belief will poison not only your romantic life, but your career, your friendships, your relationship with yourself. On the other hand, every time you refuse to chase, even when it hurts a little, even when it means losing someone you wanted, you are telling your subconscious mind, I am worth more than this. I choose myself. That builds a different kind of power, one that cannot be taken by a seen message, a delayed reply, or a canceled plan. So as you hear these words, I want you to start drawing a line in your mind. On one side, the man who chases, who begs, who over-explains, who is terrified of being alone, who allows disrespect just to feel wanted for a moment. On the other side, the man who doesn't chase, who leads himself, who feels attraction but is not controlled by it, who loves deeply when it is mutual, but never sacrifices his self-respect in exchange for temporary attention. Every decision you make from now on is moving you toward one of those two versions. You cannot be both at the same time. From today on, your job is simple, but not easy. Whenever you feel the urge to chase, pause and ask yourself, what would the man who doesn't chase do right now? And then do that, even if your heart is racing. When you want to send another message just to feel less anxious, ask, what would the man who doesn't chase do? When you are about to say yes to a disrespectful behavior because you are scared to lose her, ask, what would the man who doesn't chase do? Over and over, that question will become your compass until this mindset is no longer something you are forcing, but something you are. You are not here to beg anyone to see your value. You are here to build it, embody it, and share it with people who recognize it without needing you to chase them. The psychology of men who don't chase women is not about hating women, playing games, or pretending not to care. It is about knowing who you are, knowing what you want, and refusing to abandon yourself just to be chosen by someone who would never do the same for you.